Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, John Cena, and Hulk Hogan are just a few of the huge names who have held the WWE Championship. All these people have become household names through both their wrestling accomplishments and Hollywood stardom. One of the things all these people have in common, however, is that they're all Americans. So how does a young man from Ayrshire in Scotland get his name onto this illustrious list? The future world champion was born Andrew McLean Galloway IV on the 6th of June 1985 in Ayr, Scotland. He grew up in a nearby town called Prestwick and even considered a football career as a young teenager. His parents allowed him to begin pro wrestling training at just 15 years old under the pretense that he continues with his education. He did just that and even achieved a master's degree in criminology from the Glasgow Caledonian University. Galloway began training at the Frontier Wrestling Alliance Academy after his family moved and settled in Portsmouth in England. Notable names involved in his training include Doug Williams, Alex Shane, and fellow future WWE star Paul Burchill. He made his wrestling debut for British Championship Wrestling in 2003 and quickly ascended within the British and Irish independent wrestling scene, making a name for himself in places like Irish Whip Wrestling, where he first encountered longtime friend, another WWE star in the making, Sheamus O'Shaughnessy. Just 4 years after making his debut, it was announced in late 2007 that Drew Galloway had signed with industry leader World Wrestling Entertainment. He made his debut officially on the 12th of October edition of SmackDown using the new ring name of Drew McIntyre. He continued to make sporadic appearances on WWE's main roster until early 2008, where he was sent to refine his skills at WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling. He won the FCW title and even had an opportunity to reignite his on-screen rivalry with friend Sheamus, this time on a slightly larger scale. McIntyre's WWE television re-debut took place on the 28th of August 2009 SmackDown, shortly afterwards being labelled a future world champion by company chairman Vince McMahon himself. By December, McIntyre had captured the Intercontinental Championship, defeating John Morrison at the TLC pay-per-view. After this, his most notable success came as part of a Blink and You'll Miss It Tag Team Championship reign alongside future AEW executive Cody Rhodes. On a SmackDown episode that aired on the 21st of December 2012, McIntyre and Jinder Mahal aligned themselves with Heath Slater to form the three-man band, aka 3MB. From this point, it was mostly downhill for the trio, with a comedic WLC match featuring Hornswoggle and El Torito being the only notable highlight of the group's existence. On the 12th of June 2014, it was announced that Drew McIntyre was amongst a list of WWE employees being released from their current contracts. Drew, however, did not let the bad news affect him and instead became more determined than ever to prove himself to the pro wrestling fans and executives. He returned to ICW soon after and cut a scathing promo, putting the industry and fans alike on notice. One could argue that this is exactly what Galloway needed, as he began to build a reputation. No longer restricted by his 3MB silliness, his image was replaced with a new rugged persona and determined work ethic. Before long, Galloway had appeared in multiple highly reputable promotions all around the world, such as WXW, PWG, AAA, TNA or Impact, and Evolve, winning World Championship gold in many, if not most of them. It was not long before WWE came calling again, however this time in the form of Paul Triple H Levesque, who wanted to recruit Galloway back into the fold to be a part of his ongoing NXT explosion. On the 1st of April 2017, Galloway, once again under the McIntyre ring name, appeared in the front row during NXT's TakeOver Orlando event. In the days following, it was confirmed that McIntyre had officially re-signed with WWE and would be joining the NXT developmental brand. In less than 4 months on TV, McIntyre had defeated Bobby Roode to become the NXT champion at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. By April of 2018, Drew McIntyre had made his way back to WWE's main roster and he had formed an alignment with Dolph Ziggler. The duo would go on to have a tag team title reign together and a main event feud with The Shield. As a result of this feud, McIntyre and Ziggler would ultimately go their separate ways, with McIntyre challenging Roman Reigns to a match at WrestleMania 35. After floundering for much of 2019, it was in early 2020 that things began to kick into high gear. McIntyre began proclaiming on TV his intentions to win the upcoming Royal Rumble match. This went down well with fans and he quickly started to become a highlight of the show. After a few weeks, McIntyre was solidified as a badass and likeable babyface character, whose one goal was to get the title opportunity he had never been afforded. On the 26th of January 2020, WWE went the extra mile in committing to the idea when McIntyre not only won the Rumble match, but eliminated the current champion and all-round freak of nature, Brock Lesnar, subsequently setting up their upcoming feud and a match for WrestleMania. After a great build-up and chaotic real-life circumstances, Drew McIntyre faced off against and defeated Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 36, a moment that will be remembered by UK fans for many decades to come for its sheer historical significance. After 57 years of the WWE Championship, British fans finally have a champion to call their own. To me, however, this is not the unlikely part. Whether it be British Bulldog or Wade Barrett, other Brits have come close in the past and eventually one would have captured this illustrious honour. The crazy part is looking at all the events that led to this and how it's almost fairy tale like in its conclusion. He was once nothing more than a young lad from Ayr. Now, after enduring 20 years of ups and downs, Drew McIntyre will undeniably go down in history as both a British and professional wrestling icon.